I remember Robbie's like, no, don't know him, lost interest. He thought we were talking about
I'm
Wrigley's
sure.
Gopi for a
I'm sure I've
second.
met. I'm sure I've met half these people at some point.
Awesome. You and my brother are very much alike in terms of my brother will just be like, "Who is that?" And then he's like, "Yep, no idea." I'm like, "Have I seen him?" I'm like, "Maybe." He's like, "Yep, don't care." I was like, "All
You know
right."
what? It's awkward when people know you and you don't know them. I'm coming to that situation so many more times now. It's like, I don't care. Walking away. Ranjit's the social butterfly, so he knows everybody.
No, just a few more people than maybe one of. No, actually, no one knows more people than I do, for sure.
Shinda knows a lot of people,
Yeah.
considering.
Considering
I don't
he's
know
a hermit who
why.
plays Halo at home all day.
Yeah, just like
Yeah, for someone who says he's like, what's that word?
you're
Not
just as much of a you're just as grumpy.
introvert.
Yeah, he's just as grumpy as us, but people don't see the real side of him.
Yeah.
He's
What do you
bitter.
mean, man? I hate when I do this podcast and I try to not see this stuff because I'm always in this weird place where I'm like, I should go tie something neater, and then I'm
They
like,
go tie it. He's taking his time. I don't know what he's typing.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing. It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
Today's your internet.
Yeah. Your discount internet.
it is discarding for now, man.
I'm so
Rogers needs to really put
Yes.
get their act together. I need Bell, please.
Don't talk shit about Rogers. My Rogers is good.
I got Rogers too, but it's not good. So
I'll speed test you motherfuckers right now.
I'll beat you in a speed test. I know that much. And my internet's still garbage.
All right.
I'm not gonna do it right now. My internet's already struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Brand new year, new year, new me. Did you see my Instagram story? I ended up at LA Fitness and I felt so awkward walking in. It's the weirdest feeling.
so you're back to the gym? Are you one
Today-
of those guys?
Yeah, one, I felt like an asshole for being the new guy going back to the gym on the first week of January. Like, everyone's gonna be like, this guy's not gonna make it for a month.
Do you feel like it's like going back to school, like a new school?
No,
You're seeing new faces,
no.
trying to make new friends, or you're like the cool guy that doesn't want anyone's attention.
No,
it's a new
no.
experience, isn't it?
No, it's like going back to Turner, being 40 years old, and realizing you don't know one there no more, and remembering all the good times you had there when you were younger.
Do you not see anyone you knew?
I mean, at the time I went, no, I went during peak high school jack time, like 7:30.
No, just okay, all right.
So I'm not going to see anyone. I know there's some people
What's it,
running.
Monday International Chess Day, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, so the entire, the weight floor was just crowded with everyone flexing in their tank top tees and me thinking, yeah, I used to be able to bench that once upon a time. You kids don't know. Me in my prime, I was doing a plate 25. You know
That's
what I mean?
not good. That's not
Plates,
good.
bro, 2 plates.
2 plates was what considered average. And then, yeah, it was crowded. But like the treadmills and stuff, and I go up there and it's just all the boomers and millennials. You know what's crazy is as a millennial, I'm really a boomer to like the Zoomers. And Zoomers are a whack generation. Like
Wait, what are Zoomers?
Hold on, what's a Zoomer?
Zoomers are like the young ones, like high school kids now. High school to university kids or finishing university are Zoomers.
No, is that their official title? Or is
That's
that
the
just 'cause
official
of
title.
Zoom with
No, that's the official title.
Zoomer.
Zoomers. Yeah, boomers and now Zoomers. And then millennials are us. And then Gen
I always
X
felt
was
like
the
a
generation
boomer,
above
though.
us.
No,
Yeah,
I felt like a Gen X. Sorry.
I really
always
did well
felt
to
like
Gen X,
yeah.
but we were at we're either bottom tier Gen X or top tier millennials. So you pick where you want to go with that thing cut off. But yeah, go back to the gym. And like it's one of those places, you know it inside out, you know how to go there, but you're still kind of like, oh man, this feels awkward. Yeah, jumped on the elliptical, the old man's
So
machine.
you used to go to LA Fitness, then you quit, or you just
No.
stopped going?
Never quit. That's what drove my wife crazy. I literally had this
We'll get to it someday.
conversation with my wife nonstop of, you're not going to the gym. Why are you still paying membership dues there? And I kept trying to tell her, I'm like, look, I got a really good deal. If I cut, I'm never going to get it back. So I'm paying, $30 a month? Now people are paying $30 bi-weekly.
Oh wow, it's that expensive?
Yeah, it's $60 a month for most people. Unless they can get some corporate plan or whatever. But like Gen Pop is 40. Like Good Life's even worse. Good Life's $80 a month.
Good Life 60 euro, no?
No, people are doing what was it? Someone was telling me that he's doing 35 biweekly plus then tax on top.
Dang.
But you're paying over
Damn.
900 a year to a gym.
100,
That's
yeah,
a
100
lot.
every 3 months.
You're not supposed to calculate the yearly cost, okay?
Yeah, that's where they get you.
Yearly cost, time and investment. I wonder what the returns are like on most of those people.
I don't know.
Not
But
good.
yeah, so
Not
I've had this. I mean, I keep the gym alive by not using the facilities. Right?
5%.
I'm like, dude, 2 notches away now from going to the gym just to use a steam room. Like, I just want to go there. And my problem with steam rooms, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, is Punjabi steam rooms are just a bunch of friggin' dudes talking about which dentist or like which like assistant that they've banged. It's just straight gun. There's nothing. I remember the one time years ago that I went,
Hold
and these
on.
guys were trading stories about which dentist that they should go to because which hygienist wears like low tops, and they're looking at me for input on this. Like, I'm like, yo, I don't know why I'm here. This feels really awkward.
Keeping it real in the steam room, bro.
That's just Shinda not giving us his actual recommendation. But
Yeah.
So this is steam rooms.
I don't go to the steam room. That's
I guess my internet just died because you guys just disappeared again.
That's the first thing. Pre-DC gym, so I'm scared to hear.
What's your DC gym?
Fusion Fitness. Exactly. They have Bhangra class for cardio.
That's pretty cool.
Hold
That's
on,
what
where's
cool.
That's what I did
Fusion?
today.
Where is this?
That's what I did today.
I thought you went
By
to
my house.
Oh,
I
like
thought-
Steele's McLaughlin. So
Steels and Chinkuzi. Yeah.
you're in that pocket.
Dude, it's a solid workout. Like you go to a banquet hall.
Bhangra's an underrated workout.
Yeah.
People don't. It's good cardio.
Great cardio.
That's smart. That's smart. But you told me you went to CrossFit, so I had a different.
Yeah, I lied.
Yeah, you know when you told me you went to CrossFit, my friggin' like balls would drop. I was like, oh shit, how am I supposed to keep up with this guy?
Yeah,
This guy just put in
jacked,
20
yeah.
K's worth of friggin' pull-ups, sit-ups, and like
Bro,
rocking.
you're doing Bhangra. I do that home with my kids. I'll be fine. I'm good.
Yeah. It's a little more intense, but yeah. But to your story, Shinde, I got my wife a gym pass today at a very
That's mean.
very
Was it-
bougie gym.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very.
that
mean.
counts.
What are you trying to tell her, Ranjit?
I call her Heifer. And if you see my wife, you know that she does not deserve that title.
It's good.
I didn't laugh.
no.
For the record, I didn't laugh at that joke. I think that's very inappropriate, and I think you need to buy her flowers or something.
I will buy her flowers. She's my biggest listener. Actually, she doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'll stay
Listen, we
alive.
only got 5 listeners. I don't want to piss any
Yeah.
of them off. And 2 are probably me.
No, we have fitness goals. So I got her a gym pass. Or we went to this bougie gym for a gym pass. It's like a spa.
So Fusion, this is the Fusion one you were talking about?
No. Fusion is I'm paying like $20 a month.
So you got 2 gym passes. You got this bougie gym, and then you got Fusion.
No.
Oh.
I go to the cheap gym. She goes to the fancy gym.
Okay, so you don't have your own membership there.
No. What's the point? I'm happy with a Bhangra class. Anyways,
What is it? CBC Pangra rep?
Oh, that's what it used to be called. Yeah, exactly. Actually, I hold it down still. Anyways, dude, these bougie gyms, like there's Lifetime, there's Mavati. They're nice.
Mavati. What's that?
Oh, that's an Ottawa gym that came to the GTA recently. That's creeping in. They're the bougie gym of small towns. Like they have a Movati
So what is it?
And-
Just better equipment, better services.
Better
towel
equipment,
service.
I get towel service at my cheap gym too, actually. But it's
Well
more
then.
like sandpaper.
I got paper towels that I can pull out from the machine.
No, it's just the equipment's nice. They have pools. They have like everything is high end. It's like a spa. You go there to relax. Really nice showers. Really nice saunas. Steam
This sounds like
rooms,
the
et
opposite of
cetera, et
LA.
cetera. Yeah, like if you were sick, you go there for your what is it?
Like
Something
a yacht
infused
club or some shit, right?
steam room. Eucalyptus infused steam rooms.
It sounds
example.
like the equivalent to like a country club. People are like, I'm going to a club.
Yeah,
Like that.
exactly.
No, it's not really about working out.
People go there and spend like 2 hours, and it's 1 hour workout, 1 hour chills.
Escape from their spouses, probably hence why you weren't allowed to get a membership.
Why would you assume that I'm not allowed? Why do you have to create this toxicity? Now I'm gonna think that.
Yeah, you should think that. No one wants to spend time with you.
Yeah, maybe this is her escape. Anyways, we did that like tour of shame.
Just staying quiet. He's like,
You know when you have that you go to the gym and you see new people show up and they're getting that tour and you're like, oh, losers.
That was you.
We all think that was me today.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Cardio
fitness
goals.
tip. Yeah, because we're running a 10K, aren't we?
I
that is the
mean,
challenge. Shinda, you why don't you just describe the challenge that you posed to us? You challenged us, didn't you?
I mean, I challenged someone else, and then I told you guys to jump on because,
Say his name. Say his name.
well, I fear that he might lawyer up and try to come at me for defamation. I don't want to get there, but there's this guy who thinks he's a mayor. Goes by the alias Serpanch, doesn't run shit. He was talking bear trash me. I said, yo, I want to run a 10K. He's like, you can't even run 1 kilometer without dying. And I'm like, yo, let's do it. And he's like, yo, I'd come to your house tomorrow and do it. I'm like, yo, May 7th, you got 5 months. He's like, I can do 10K tomorrow if I wanted to. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, come over. I'll walk 10K. It's not a problem. I'm very stubborn like that. Even if I can't do something, I'll still make an attempt to do it. Even if I feel badly at it, I'll still show up. And he realized this. So after he ran out of excuses, no, first I was challenging him in the Tough Mudder. Let's backtrack once. And he backed out saying he doesn't know how to swim. Find something that doesn't require swimming. So I said, no problem. 10K marathon.
Oh, you pulled it off me.
I'm pulling that a lot. My internet's ass today.
But
anyways,
you're gonna have. I know you're recording locally, but we've just missed the last 30 seconds of your entire story.
So what I'm saying
slow
is,
your roll.
all I'm saying is, I started with a Tough Mudder challenge. He said he can't swim and he give him something more reasonable. I said 10K. Don't gotta do anything but walk.
Wait, you don't swim in a Tough Mudder?
There's like that little pool section.
I don't think you swim, do you? You just kind of wade.
Yeah, you wade, whatever. But he was afraid of it.
That's
Water
like
dreams.
saying you're gonna drown in a kiddie pool. Come on.
There's an extreme fear of water we're dealing with.
We're dealing with.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Right?
My apologies.
We're dealing
Fair
with
enough.
a bit of a guy who has an OBGYN, right? We go in.
Hold on. What I was saying was inappropriate, and that's okay.
Shut up, you podiatrist, man. Listen, this guy would not do this Tough Mudder challenge with me. We put $500 up for grabs, and he said, "No, that's bullshit." Well, chirping me, telling me that I couldn't do it either, but I said, "I'll do it." So I said 10K.
He got a doctor's note.
Easy K, 10K. Don't gotta do anything but move forward. Right before it started getting real, he talked a bunch of shit. Said, "Yo, I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna get an ultrasound done on my knee." And I was like, "What? You expecting? Like, what the hell?" Ultrasound. Then he's like, "Oh, yo, MRI. I think I might have torn my ACL, MCL. I don't know. I'll let you guys know in May." I was like, "Man, get off this shit. You're weak." So yeah, that's where we're at with that. And then I've had a few people reach out to me. I don't know if this has crossed your mind at all. Like, correct. Let me know if this has crossed your mind. Have you been watching? You guys are on Twitter, obviously.
Yeah.
If either one of us, if any one of us, God forbid, knock on wood, whatever, have a heart attack, anti-vaxxers are going to be up our ass. This keeps running in my mind. As someone who constantly makes fun of these dudes, that they're going to be so up my ass saying, "See, the jab got him." And meanwhile, I'm just thinking, man, probably those energy drinks, the sedentary lifestyle.
I think that's more a reason for the heart attack than the jab.
100% it is. But I know if I drop in any of this training or in this thing, it's going to be young man in shape. It had to be the jab. And now I'm kind of like, shit, I really hope I don't have a heart attack doing this. Like, it's in my mind.
Yeah, yo. Shout out Mike on Twitter. You know who you are. If I fall, you better run that conspiracy.
You want that conspiracy theory. That's coming around so much because Dan Hamlin got it. And then like, nah, it was that thing where if you get a blow to your chest at the same time as the rhythm, it happens. And it's a common thing that happens in certain sports like lacrosse and stuff, more so than others. Has happened in football in the past, pre-jab eras. You know, nothing crazy conspiracy theory here, but you know, governments are keeping up. The CBC reporter, I don't know if you saw the clip of her. She was on air.
She fainted or whatever.
She was like fainting her, and they like cleared that up. They're like, jab, vaccine, heart attack on friggin' air. These guys are covering it up. Can't even cover it up on national media no more. And then she tweets out later, 2 days later, saying, "Hey, I'm good. You know, not really a health scare, just was a little, you know,
There were,
lack some electrolytes.
even in the local Brampton Punjabi community over the last few months, there's been, I guess, some deaths of like under 30 young men, like a spate of them all at once. And
But
then,
that was happening before COVID as well.
yes, of
Yes.
course.
So do you remember that? There was like, I think the 2 years before COVID, or it was just a
But
string of
now,
young guys, heart
but
attacks.
now people always like people think that too, right? So
Yeah.
it seems like that's the boogeyman that everybody runs to now. It's like, oh, it's the jab. We didn't test it. Look what's happening.
Dude, it's the new world order. They're coming
Yeah.
for us. And if we don't react, bro, you
It's
guys
the
need
same
to
people that said the
wake
fluoride
up.
in our toothpaste is going to control our mind.
Wake up. Tweeted from iPhone. On Twitter. On TikTok. Hello, you pretty people. Fucking assholes, man. It's the weirdest thing. People go down so many weird conspiracies while indulging in every single thing that's actually tracking you. The government's watching you. Yeah, you just tweeted that on the friggin' Twitter. That's publicly watching us using
Well,
devices
Or
that track
like
our motions and
flat Earth
well,
is tweeting using GPS.
speaking of now that Elon has control of Twitter and he's pushing these conspiracy theories, is that what it is now? Is Twitter like the junk or the toilet of the internet now? Is it the 4chan?
Do you think do you think he got a bad deal?
100% he got a bad deal. He paid
Yeah.
4 times the premium for a company that wasn't making profit, that was losing, that he had to go in and look. I say this, and I'm not critical of Elon in this regard because I know what happened. It's like, you know, when you get called out on a bet and you just have to go through with it because you put your chest out like that, and obviously there's legal ramifications pushing him. This guy bought Twitter. There's a reason the board of directors said yes so fast, is because of how bad Twitter was bleeding money pre Elon. They knew Twitter's future was limited. They needed a buyer. They needed money. You know, they were running out of seed funding that could continue to keep this thing alive, or not even seed funding, just funding. Elon comes in with deep wallets, and they're like, "Yeah, this sinking ship is yours now."
Well, why can't people monetize it? I mean, it's interesting, right? Like we're paying subscriptions for news, we're paying subscriptions for all this, and it could just be everything's on Twitter. I'm just surprised that no one's really done it correctly. I mean, I wouldn't pay for it because I'm not active as you guys, but would you guys pay for it?
I do pay for it, actually. I have a Twitter Blue. I've had it before Elon.
Are you blue? Yeah.
I don't get the check mark though because I was pre-Elon, so that's kind of my pride and thing. And I did it because you get better file uploads.
But how much is this? How much is the blue check? I guess how much does it cost?
It's now they raise it up to $11
A month.
a month US. It used to be 8. It's still 8 if you're not on iOS. So there's that silver lining.
Or is it your subscriptions taking over our lives?
100%.
Netflix, Twitter, like it's just Apple. It's everywhere, man.
Cars are going to become subscriptions soon enough.
Well, wasn't in BMW was saying with the heated seats they were going to do subscription-based services, but I mean,
I think it was Mercedes.
Canada. No, it was Beamer.
Oh, was it Beamer?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, man, like your product needs to be. I mean, heated seats. People will like, I'm not going to pay $20 a month for that, right? Like I can't see. But Twitter, man, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. $11 a month is a lot of money, and for something that's so dysfunctional right now, like it seems more broken than it was pre.
Well,
Elon's credit.
let's.
He did get a lot of people on that.
What?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, let's recap what happened. So he bought it because he had to think of it like a $1 billion deposit if he doesn't go through. So he was gonna lose big money anyways if it didn't. Then he had all these lawsuits.
realtor can relate to that one.
Yeah, pretty much, right? So think of it that way. $1 billion deposit is not a small thing, or it was like a clause. You know, if he doesn't go through the transaction, they get this no matter what. Then, you know, he got called out publicly. He was going to get destroyed in the case if he let it go forward. Every lawyer meme account was making fun of the lawyers that were representing Elon because of it.
It's hard when your client's on Twitter saying, "I'm going to buy this every day."
Yeah. It was just worse and worse. So then he buys it, and he has to like cash out his Tesla stocks to fund it, and that kills Tesla.
Well, he didn't cash out too much of his stock. He sold a bunch, but then he also leveraged the rest.
Well, he leveraged the rest, and then the banks are calling on it, aren't they? So
Yeah,
he had
because
to sell
Tesla
a
stock's
bunch.
going down, so now it's like
Yeah. So
It's like
he
it's double whammy. Double
this
whammy.
guy's getting
He-
liquidated on his Tesla shit, which is
Yeah,
scaring
it's-
Tesla investors down.
and then he loses like all the major companies that
Advertisers.
used to spend pay for ads on Twitter. He's losing their accounts.
Revenue. He's lost the revenue stream that it had
Then-
initially. Yeah.
Apple delisted Twitter on their app store for a bit too.
Or they threatened to. I don't know how long that
Oh,
lasted. It was more
yeah,
of a
yeah.
threat.
Still, he's taking a lot of black eyes for this. So, I think he has to make this work somehow.
You think
Yeah,
he's
so you-
bored? Do you think he's bored? Like this is just something he has to fix? Because Tesla's kind of it's on its way. It doesn't really need him as much, does it? I mean, you have engineers, ideas.
But no, we need more Cybertrucks. Haven't you seen it?
No. But what I mean is that like his whole basis was to create it, to get it functioning, to make it successful. Same thing with SpaceX. It's working. It's kind of working independently of him. Like I feel like he just takes on projects. So is this Twitter just his next thing? He's bored. Spend his money. I don't think he thinks conventionally like us, and I don't think he really cares that he lost $1 billion or whatever dollars.
I mean,
I don't know. I think he's odd, right? Like he doesn't like everyone else. So there must be some motive to why he's still doing this, right?
my thing.
I don't know. I mean, no. Oh, you're really lagging, Asian.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
internet's bad today. I'm just calling him out. I think he deserves that one.
I don't
anyways,
know what's going on with my internet, to be honest.
Since I'm live and you're way behind, and we'll give you 1 minute pause after we're done talking,
All right,
so you can
appreciate
chime
it.
in. But on the heels of what you said, Robbie, I don't think anyone, no matter how rich they are, can go to sleep knowing you've lost $1 billion. Let alone he's lost way more than that, right? And then the other thing is like SpaceX, Tesla. These were engineering feats. Okay, that and those are different than social media.
Social media. Well, I mean, yeah, he's trying to do software engineering, but I don't think it's the same, right? So
Yeah, so there's even software engineering aside, like there's no coding solution that's gonna make Twitter more, generate more revenue. At least I can't see it. It's
But
just a
the problem with
concept.
Twitter is also kind of like you have Kanye's like rant, and then all of a sudden you see like a McDonald's ad. Like companies they want some level of curation of where are our ads and where's our company branding going to appear. And if Elon's kind of inviting this open space for free discussion without consequence, which he kind of backtracked big time, which was its own thing. Where does that exist? Like then you have advertisers like, well, we don't really trust your platform for just our brand's sake. And this is one of the problems Twitch has. Twitch, a streaming platform. Brands are just like, look, if we don't know what the creators on your platform are going to say, do we really want our ads associated with them or playing before any of their videos?
Or let them know what they're going to do. Aren't like all mass shootings broadcast on Twitch?
Or
like,
once and
insane.
twice it
Yeah,
happened.
like-
Right?
Whatever it is, right? Like every time it comes, it's like it's streaming on Twitch. You're like, yeah, that's a bad look.
Yeah, so it's definitely a bad look. And YouTube's gone through these hurdles, right? Like YouTube has gotten to the point where they know what they had to do to become advertiser friendly. And they continue to reshape this and continue to make these challenges because at the end of the day, they just want to generate as much revenue as they can. So how do you make more revenue than, CBC, ABC? Those are who YouTube's going up against when it comes to broadcasting dollars or advertising dollars. So Twitter's in this weird space where it's not as cute as Instagram.
I mean, your content's not curated, right? That's the difference.
Yeah.
Right. The content's a bit Wild West, right? You let the users kind of say whatever you want, and that's what kind of is the attraction of Twitter. Whereas in YouTube, the content is curated. No one cares about the messaging underneath the video. The advertisers don't care. Mm-hmm. It's more about the content, what's bringing you to that platform. And I think that's what Twitter is kind of volatile in that sense that, anyone can, Kanye is the prime example right now, I guess, or Trump at one point, get on and say whatever you want. And is that, do they want to be tied to something like that? So but it's interesting who makes those. Sorry, go ahead.
Elon tried to save the bleed by going in there and firing everyone day one, which obviously doesn't work long term because now you have a lot less developers making the platform usable.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, there's a lot of Silicon Valley fat here. We just got to trim it. But they were legit losing a lot of money. That's where it comes down to. And a lot of companies did have to trim because
Do you think they weren't honest with him though during the sale? Like the amount of bots and advertise. Like I mean, there could be
That's like a technical thing. Like that's like
no, but that would be huge though, right? Like if
I mean,
if,
due
if you're
diligence
not,
comes that up, and you can probably get out of a deal. I mean, corporate deals and due diligence fall apart all the time.
yes.
I'm
So
sure
that's
are
like
honest
what he
enough.
was.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like they were honest enough. And one of the problems is this guy was tweeting a lot about bots before he bought Twitter. So it kind of ruins that argument of, well, there's way more bots than I thought. We're like, no, this guy hinted that 90%
you
of
kind of
them were
knew
bots.
that, yeah. You know what you're buying. Yeah.
Yeah, his lawyers probably told him to like use that as a excuse, just like kick and scream, dig your heels in, just say bots, bots, bots. They lied to me about that, and use that as a basis to like
Get out.
can't get out of the agreement, right? But obviously, that was not going to fly. It wasn't going to work, and he had to pay. The man had to step up,
What do
and
you guys
that
think? What do you think's gonna happen in Tesla?
It's
Like
gonna
on the
be
back end,
fine.
he's obviously stepped away from that, but it's tanking.
I think in another 5 years, all the other EV makers are going to catch up, and then Tesla will have some real competition.
I honestly think the same thing.
I think it's like three. I mean, who's not caught up? You know, you
So
cut up
tech-
there. Should they say that again?
Sorry. This is so funny. Having bad internet,
This is
just not used to it.
So bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so
I'm
cringe.
loving this. If the listeners know, it's always me. So
Robbie's about to get canceled out and gonna be gone and have to come back.
It's so weird, man. No, I think it's interesting because I've been arguing that Honda Sony, they came up with their prototype in this CES.
CES this week, yeah.
Yeah. And like Honda's a big car manufacturer. They have the resources to put up factories to quickly catch up to Tesla in terms of production
And cheaply.
and cheaply, possibly. Toyota, great car manufacturer, great reputation in the car market. They've been doing hybrids. They start coming out with straight EVs. I definitely think they'll make
I mean,
right.
Hyundai's already there.
Hyundai's
Like,
already
Hyundai
there.
makes a
They're already
great.
there. They're
great
already
car.
there. They're already way beyond all these car manufacturers. They've been, I mean, the Kia Niro debuted, I don't know, like 4 years ago. So they had already been building that platform, and now they're just applying to different models over two car brands at a reasonable price. How do you know,
Genesis, the third, the luxury brand is gonna be all electric. I think
Yeah.
in like 2 years.
No, they have it already. It's already out.
Only electric.
No, all electric SUV.
Yeah,
It's based
yeah.
on the Ioniq 5. It's called a GV90 or something like that, or EV90. It's the same car, but they've just did a Genesis version of it. But it just shows you, like, they have the formula. So for them to, like,
They
pump
gotta
out
innovate,
cars is not
right?
going to take them. And to give them credit, they make good cars. They're good EVs. It's not like they're, like they're falling apart or the manufacturing process is questionable. I mean, the problem with like Audis and BMWs, Audis have a range problem, so their technology is a bit behind. Mercedes is just taking their time, and they're far too expensive. BMW has taken a weird approach where they're not building a new car; they're just retrofitting, like the 3 Series and making them into electric vehicles, and 5
Trying to make them
Series.
lighter.
Have you?
Yeah,
have
it's
you?
not- it's not-
Wait, have you seen the new 7 Series? The all electric one?
No,
Is it
it's
nice?
a
I
new
haven't seen
7
it.
Series. It's a 7 Series. What I'm saying, it's not a new model, right? Not a new platform. It's not a new line of cars.
Right.
The approach that Hyundai and Kia and Honda and all these guys are taking. So I mean, once all these guys catch up, and there's so many options. I know Volvo's, is it 2 years? They're not making any more combustible engines or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And you got Polestar. I mean, you're a shopper, and you're gonna now look for how many people can afford the Tesla. That's another thing. The price shot up, except in China. That was crazy this week. They reduced the prices, and people were protesting.
Wait, how?
Yes, so they reduced the prices. I don't know if it was a week. Excuse me for that, but there was lineups at Tesla for people trying to buy new cars, and then there was another video where people were going into Tesla protesting because they had just bought the car for a lot more money the week before, but it hadn't been delivered. So you have this this two-sided thing. I just think as a car company, they're still learning. They'll get there. I'm not saying they
I
won't.
mean, they
but
don't have the same
the head
advantage that
start
these
they
other guys
had
did.
and the advantage. exactly. And that's gone. And now, like little things like you can always tell a car manufacturer by the seams between the bumper or the
heard about
trunk, or
that.
how good those seams are. And if you look at certain cars or things like even like Lucid, which is supposed to be this amazing luxury brand, it's bad. It's bad. There's like gaps. There's not uniform. Like that's in your manufacturing product. That's your precision, and that's where South Koreans and Japanese and Germans are always miles ahead, anyways.
And not to mention,
So
if I was to ask you who's the CEO of these other car companies, what are their politics? You'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But with Tesla, you know it. So
Cars-
Elon has to be
car in the-
affecting the image of Tesla. Like when you see Elon going on rants or going QAnon on QAnon, conspiracy theories, or if he's calling, rescue workers pedophiles because they talk shit to him, that has to be affecting the
What?
image. Don't you remember this when the Thai soccer team got crapped in that?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
talking
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
And then he was like, I have a perfect solution. I'm going to engineer something that's going to really save these kids. And one of the divers was like, bro, that's not going to work. And he's like, well, you're a pedophile. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I just mean like,
Well,
That's
the
not.
Kanye.
yeah, he brings baggage to the brand. And he's not above
But
the
I
brand.
mean, but in terms of a car, I mean, there's the fanboys. Okay, so let's say 50% of people are actual fanboys of Tesla. They've always wanted one. The other 25%
Sorry, can you say that
are
one more time? You cut
users
out.
of each of the brand, as most luxury car owners are. Just from a car, is that your internet or mine?
Are we back?
I think we're
Questions
back.
is
Yeah,
internet?
So we're back.
I think we're back. Everyone's mouth is now synced. We probably should have done this
Well,
earlier.
my question to you guys is that, for the general user, what is so attractive now about Tesla, other than the software, other than the auto drive? Just as a car, I don't think they're anything special.
No, actually, now you hear owners critique the car, saying it's cheaply made inside, et cetera, and the materials or whatever. So that luster is gone. But yeah, they're the only ones. They have the first mover advantage, man. That's all they have now.
That's all. But you mean, and shouldn't have talked about the Cybertruck? Did you guys see the Ram truck that came out?
Yeah.
That looks good too, man.
Looks nice.
Looks like a
Hold on.
Cybertruck
Before
copy, but it looks.
hold on. You said it looks good too, inferring that the Cybertruck looked good.
No. I didn't
No.
say that.
Oh,
you
that's what I
said that,
heard.
Robbie?
Robbie said
Oh
that.
my God.
I don't say it looks good. I think it could look cool. It could look cool.
I thought when they
No.
first presented it, it had potential. And then when I saw the presentation 2 years ago, I'm like, okay,
Is that-
I don't
you
get
know,
it, but
'cause you-
maybe.
'cause you-
Now I've
it's a
seen it on the
concept.
road and I've seen it everywhere. I'm like, no, but they're
Oh,
actually
it's out.
It's out.
It's
They're
come on
starting
the
to.
road?
I've seen people post videos of seeing them out live. Maybe they're not like fully production or whatever, but car is horrendous. Like there's
I've seen it. It's ugly.
Oh,
you
my perception of it, I thought it was gonna kind of, I'm like, whatever, I got to see it in person because it's a pickup truck. They're much. I thought it would kind of look like the Tumbler from Batman. Remember Dark
Yeah.
Knight or whatever it was.
No.
I'm like, it's gonna have that cool tough vibe, but if it doesn't, then
it looks like someone they had cardboard to work with and they made a car out of it and they made it out of steel instead of like cardboard. It's just
Yeah,
so
I want to see.
jaggedy
I want to see the
looking.
wind tunnel. I want to see that wind tunnel
Test.
graphic of it.
they're ram straight up.
It's like this thing is not aerodynamic.
No, but the
It's not a good looking car in my opinion.
No,
it's expensive
or
too.
truck.
That's the main thing, right? Like it's expensive, right?
Might be. I mean, Teslas
What's
are out of my range for a lot of times. So
This, what's crazy? The Silverado pickup truck. They're making a work truck version, and it's starting at like 40 something US.
that's
Electric,
pretty cheap.
same range, same thing for a pickup truck. EV, has the same range, same engine, same everything. The inside's obviously different. Doesn't have all the perks. It's cheap, man. 50, 60K Canadian in that range, I guess, for a pickup truck EV with reasonable range. I think that's pretty fair.
EVs in Canada are
Right.
interesting because the cold weather actually affects battery life. Like
Yeah.
it hits range by up to 30%.
It's
A big ask when we spend half our.
But I mean, yeah, but how many times are you really going to be driving 400 kilometers in a day?
No, only
Like,
trips.
can
are
you-
like-
can-
yeah.
Yeah,
it's
can
road
you
trips.
can you can
Road
you
trips.
can yeah.
Road trips are gonna be a
So,
bitch.
in the winter? How many road trips are you taking?
2?
You go
I guess if
to
you're skiing, if you're skiing and stuff,
yeah, if
fair
you're
enough.
skiing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Blue Mountain aside, right? Like going to Ottawa.
Uh,
My internet sucks. I'm sorry.
like 3 minutes for cold for it to charge. Oh. Yeah, it's
Yo,
so bad.
He blipped like the Matrix. Did you see that?
He's like those commercials you see, the internet commercials that was that one with a girl dancing like this. That's your internet, bro. Oh
Man,
man.
Shinda's saying with the
I'll
bad
take the
internet.
L.
I
I'll
never
take
thought
the
this would
L
happen.
Elon, can you please fund?
I think it's
Shinda's
because you
internet?
talk so much shit about my internet.
His
It's just
karma.
karma.
Or what if
That's
it's the
karma.
jab?
Uh,
It's
I
because
want,
the job.
well, let's skip along because we don't know how long Shinda's internet's gonna last. So let's talk about Central and South America. Fucked up shit happening. You pick your country first.
Let's start with Brazil because I don't think it's as a big topic as the other.
January.
Fine.
They had their January 6th moment. The
On
storming
January
of the
6th.
Capitol. No, January.
Was it
They were
on
2 days. They were 2 days.
Oh, okay.
Yo, what's with that guy? Is it just planned? They just want to be like Trump? Is it Bolsornaro or something like that?
Dude, like be
ex-president?
original. Be original.
Hold on, give me some background because I legit don't know anything about this one.
Okay, so a couple of days ago or yesterday, there's this ex-president Bolsonaro.
Very right-wing Trump.
Super, yeah.
Yeah, very Trump-like. Same kind of.
Yeah, similar rhetoric.
Yeah.
This is
similar
a guy who
profile.
said COVID is fake and then got COVID a day later. And
Yeah,
was
yeah,
hospitalized really bad
That
for
guy,
it.
yeah.
I
That
got
guy,
him.
that guy.
So he recently lost an election. It was not like a bad loss like Trump lost. It was pretty close. So there was all sorts of talk about civil war, blah blah blah. But Brazil was actually pretty chill after the election. It's been a few months, I think, at least. Anyways, there was a protest, or protesters took over the Supreme Court, their Parliament building, and one other major government building. And the way this was dealt with was very different. The army came in. The protesters cheered the army because they thought that the army was going to be helping them and was going to essentially have a coup d'etat. And what actually ended up happening was the army came in and surrounded the protesters and arrested 1,500 of them.
Well, that's a lot of people to arrest.
As you would expect.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
Maybe some people
But
got hurt. Some people must have got hurt.
it was a much better response, but I guess, they had
My theory is why it didn't happen sooner is because the World Cup was on.
that's it.
That's actually pretty plausible. Considering Brazil and how big football is there.
We're gonna storm, but yeah, we got other things to focus on right now.
I feel like that's a fair theory.
No, the election happened in October, so it's been a few months.
They've had time to percolate. But they had the World Cup to distract them for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. They had to. They didn't want to ruin that, right? They don't want to put a smear on their country.
I think they
for
had
the
January
world's biggest
6th.
stage.
They had January 6th circled, and then they got late.
I mean, did they not learn from what happened in America? Like, you did the exact same thing. What do you think was going to happen?
There must have been something where they thought the army and cops would like help them out. There must have been something because they legit were cheering and clapping as the army strolled in. And the army was just like, okay.
It's like breaking the windows. Like, what are you planning to achieve? That's the one. Even for the January 6th stuff, and like when they stormed the Capitol, what were you really going to do? Did you really think you're going to cause change?
You're really going to hijack the U.S. government?
Yeah, like what is this? An episode of 24? Like what?
Where's Jack Bauer? Did he get the call?
If there were like some obscure African power or like Southeast Asian power, like let's say Burma or something, who has like coup d'etats all the time.
Yeah, because the military's behind them. It's a bit different. Right? The military's going in. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But if this played out, and just following that thread you pulled, if this played out and they overthrew the government, who's gonna recognize this new government of Bolsonaro, however the fuck you say his name? Nobody. I mean, Brazil's a big country. Nobody's gonna step up and say, "Yeah, it's okay," other than like North Korea and Russia.
But I mean, South America's had its fair share of cloudy waters when it comes to
Coups
dictators and coups,
Venezuela,
and it's pretty messy. Argentina, there's pretty messy history.
Now it's clean. Now Colombia is clean. Now Mexico is
Mexico is a whole nother problem. They don't even have a government that works.
I mean, hold
There is
on.
no government.
I feel like Mexico does have a government, and that's why they're clamping down on the cartels. No, I felt like that's the show of force
Dude,
that
when your army and police officers are scared of the cartel's running your country, right? The cartel's not scared of the government,
It looks like
right?
they're
And it's all paid back and forth. There's agreements, right? Obviously,
But I feel
but
like those agreements, like that's what I'm thinking too. But at the same time, they got the guy, and they seem to have gotten him out of the country because they got Biden's going
is
down.
is
Trudeau and
is he
Biden are
out?
coming in.
Is he out of the country now?
Yeah, from what I saw, they transported him into America.
Oh,
There's
he's
an
done then.
extradition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's
um,
done.
Biden and Trudeau are both headed over to Mexico this week, which is why they wanted to have this
they're
show of
already
force.
there. They're already there.
They're already there. Yeah, so
They got there today. Yeah.
this was the Mexican president's way of saying, "Listen, I'm running this country. This is my country. Let me know what we need to do to get trade going, to get businesses comfortable here, because this
Well,
is
trade's happening fine, man. Things are being traded across that border all the time.
No, but I've never gone to Mexico, and I always hear these horror stories about the resorts, and if you leave the resort, or you bumped into the wrong guy at a resort party. So that's always in the back of my mind.
Dude,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and now, like, maybe this is the first step towards like cleaning that up and having a better reputation. Maybe a few years from now, like the cartels will be wiped out, or maybe this is just like a
changing of the
momentary
heads.
clap back, and then the cartels will resume shit. But it's still nuts seeing commercial airplanes being shot at the airport. It's nuts. I messaged my cousin. I sent him a video clip who he flies a commercial jet, and I was like, "Bro, you're a fighter pilot now. I mean,
I love the take.
you gotta dodge bullets, bro."
Yo, but that country, man, the cartels have no concern for human life. Like that's gotten to a point where nobody cares. Someone dying is not a big deal. They kill people all the time.
They hang them from the friggin' streetlights,
Yeah,
man.
I mean that shit's not gonna be over in a few years. That's gonna take generations, right? Generations of stability if they ever get that. But until the cartels are there,
They have
shit's not
friggin'
changing.
kids. They just get a bunch of kids and give them guns like, Jello, you're a frontline soldier for us now. And kids are like, well, we got to get paid somehow.
So Colombia did it, and they basically just like empowered their cops to just go and kill these guys and essentially wipe out a whole generation.
But the problem was the cartels killing all their families, right? They're going after like if there's a police officer, they just go kill their entire family. How do you recruit? How do you recruit anyone? Who's going to join that force? You join up the cartels at your door, and the next day it wipes out your whole family.
Yeah, that's why
Cartel
it has to be the army. So you have people in the
thing.
army from far
Same
No,
away.
no.
Same thing-
Honestly,
same
it
thing in
comes
the
down to
army.
this: who pays you better, the cartel or the government? That's what it comes down to. No, it's where am I going to get? Because that people aren't joining the cartel because they like the leaders. They're going because it gives them a stable income. Give them let
But
the government
if you
provide a stable income.
if you give the military the free reign to go in and kill whoever they want, but that comes up with a lot more questions, right? And does if they do what they did in Colombia, same thing, but yeah, who's innocent, who's not then, right? Who's the drug dealer, who's not, who's part of the cartel, who's not? The army can definitely do it and wipe out everybody, but is it gonna be stable? Right? I don't know. I think it's
And there's always that vacuum, right? You take
that's the thing, right? Like you take one guy, there's
you
10
take
others.
you get this one
Yeah.
cartel out. Well, now the other cartel that was waiting for the chance, now they have like this opening to come in, and maybe they'll make better agreements with the government, saying, "Listen, we understand the problem with the last one. He got a little too brazen. He was hitting up the tourist spots. We'll make sure the tourist spots don't get touched at all." But not
the real way to stop it is stop the drugs, but I mean that's not going to happen,
No,
right? Like that.
what the
that-
Chinese
that-
are.
No, I'm saying that's the real way to cut these guys off is cut their cash flow, right?
Yeah.
and the only way to do that is legalize it. No,
That's a good point. Yeah. I wonder what the weed trade's been like, in terms of as
I
it
mean,
gets legalized in the U.S. Is there
the
less?
the cost of weed has come down to the point where it is now on par, just a little expensive. Just I think it's still actually a little bit more expensive than like black market stuff. anecdotal, I hear people going to these stores more and more because they know what's in their product, and there's a level of consistency that they've started to hit, so they know what to expect, which you don't get with the black market, I guess.
I mean, especially with the
So
fentanyl stuff going on right now, right? You just can't trust anything.
yeah, exactly. So, well, I don't know if do people lace fentanyl with
No, but
weed
people
with
lace,
fentanyl,
but they lace everything with anything, right? Like I'm just
well,
saying,
funny
in the
enough,
world out there, is you never know, right?
these those those DC meme Instagram accounts. I saw some of
Yeah.
them posting stories on their videos that the recent, like a couple of weeks ago, just over Christmas break, that there's a stream of Dode in Brampton that are laced with fentanyl. And beware, everybody! Like, golly
messed up,
nogginy,
man.
something's wrong with it right now. Don't hit it.
That's scary, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
that shit, you could just touch it and die. Like it's not even. I was having this discussion with someone about the whole drug problem in our community, but do you think it's getting worse? I mean, we are becoming. We are the main transporters, are we not?
Listen, you're always trying to talk shit about truckers, okay? We're not the main. It can fly in too. It comes in boats.
Well, whatever. However, it's getting. I mean, do you think like things like that, Dode with fentanyl? Do you think our community is? I know more kids are using synthetics, so.
I don't think it's our community problem. I think it's young people problem. They are using synthetics more often. I mean, how often do you hear about it? BC is a great little like petri dish to see exactly what's happening, right?
Our test area.
Yeah. So it's like kids of every community are getting ODing on fentanyl-laced drugs. People cut it into their coke, into their other drugs. So, you hear of kids dying that way. So it's just young kids, man. They're going for the more potent stuff than what people in our generation did back then. Shouldn't they?
I mean, I have no take on it. I don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Did that really cut out?
Thanks, Officer Bob.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't know much about drugs. My generation, I just heard about weed and cocaine.
No, but you're a father. So you're a father to so.
That's
Aren't
a
you
very
a tad
Maury
bit worried
Povich, you are the father type statement. Yeah, but yes, I am a father.
Yeah.
Even though I forget about it sometimes.
But you know
until
what
my
I
kids
mean. I
start
mean,
screaming. Am I scared about my kids going on drugs? And I don't.
No, I think we do have a shared concern about the future.
Listen, man, private schools
No.
were a breeding ground back in the day.
I'm scared I won't know what the drug is. That's like when you're like that, you get the new technology. Like I can't figure this shit out, right? Or the new game or whatever. Like, so fuck these new drugs. What are these, right? Like weed's been so consistent for like what? Boomers had it easy, man. I'm telling you, boomer life. All they had to deal with was weed. Cocaine came after, right?
No. Drugs? No, cocaine was big from the 70s. Cocaine
60s.
Boomers had cocaine.
60s though.
No.
80s, they had cocaine, but kids wise.
70s was the era of cocaine.
Now,
70s was the era of cocaine.
Kids too?
Like
wait,
young adults.
Stop, guys. Time out. Okay, it's not like I'm a drug encyclopedia, but yes, fine. The kids probably weren't doing coke in like the 50s or 40s, but there was coke back then too.
No, for sure. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying the prevalence or the
like what the high school kids were doing.
No, like 60s with the hippie era, weed was the big. We know that, right? That is
weed, LSD.
Yeah, like that kind of, and then it transferred into coke in the 70s and 80s, and then whatever it is now. I'm just saying, as a parent, the main ones they were worried about when we were all growing up, our parents were worried about weed. They weren't worried about cocaine.
Man, our kids are being
what scares me is meth.
up.
Meth and heroin scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too. When you see someone doing that, snapping the form, I'm like, no.
Anytime I see like lighters and spoons, I'm like, oh my god, what the hell is happening?
I feel like we got a podcast generation coming up who's just going to be talking about wanting to try ayahuasca and.
I mean, psychedelics. Okay, I mean,
psychedelics
that's a weird one.
Psychedelics are funny because they were so prominent in, like, Steve Jobs would fire people if they hadn't tried a psychedelic.
Really?
This was part of his story when Apple started. And he was doing hiring. He would legit ask people in the interview.
You're positive. Maybe I'm spacing it.
No, that's me. Steve Jobs was big on psychedelics. And he would ask people, like, have you done this? And if they said no, he'd be like, well, you clearly aren't creative enough for this company. Obviously, as their company grew and they got an HR department, he was removed from the hiring process. No, but like Steve Jobs was huge on psychedelics. And he openly
they're being
boasted about
legalized
that.
into like treatment in psychiatric situations, but
I know a lot of like executives that will use psilocybin as a body hack of some sort. And yeah, like now there's a lot of testing of it. It's actually a big industry in Canada.
would you call that a hard drug though?
Yeah.
Like, do you class mushrooms as a hard drug?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, because you have to microdose it to get the medicinal effect of it. It's a hard.
Can you die from taking mushrooms?
I don't know.
No,
I'm gonna say
generally
yes.
I'm generally, I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna go with yes. You
I feel
guys
like
talk.
most deaths coming from things from psychedelics are people doing them in
Losing their
unsafe
mind.
environments.
Fair enough.
Like,
that's another way of looking at it. It's a workplace hazard, right?
Yeah, like you're running into the road or running onto the tracks, and bam, the stairway to heaven shows up a lot
No,
faster.
like the synthetics, you can die, right? Like that's the thing. You can OD. Like, can you OD on a mushroom? Is my question, right?
I don't know.
No, it's extremely rare. It's a low toxicity drug.
I just legalized that. I'm all
I think
for
it is, isn't it? Aren't they
Is it?
legalized? Isn't that
I think
the
that was the
intention?
next thing. They're like, first we do weed, and then we'll work on the psychedelics.
Medicinal stuff. Yeah, it's medicinal stuff right
Medicinal.
now.
Well,
But
first step, right?
it's gonna happen. It'll happen.
I mean, if it
And there's
doesn't
gonna
harm
be
people, and
then there's
people
gonna be
are,
this stocks are gonna go crazy and then they'll crash eventually again.
There's a good chance Shinda's wife will start prescribing it soon. So
as she
go.
likes to remind me, she cannot prescribe drugs.
no,
Soon there will be
yeah.
more
It's very disappointing because I've been trying to get ADD out. ADD.
Ritalin.
Trying to get Adderall. I keep trying to get Adderall
Adderall.
from her. I try to tell. I'm like, look, I have ADD. She's like, you do not have ADHD. I'm like, I do. She's like, you
That's
don't.
actually that's one I actually do want to try. Just to
Adderall?
once, just to try,
Shut
just to
the
see
fuck
what would
up.
happen.
Mr. Doctor over here
Yeah.
went to
I swear to
Waterloo.
God,
Waterloo, I
I've
heard
never
they had
tried
Adderall next to the water fountains.
I promise I didn't. That's why I didn't do too well at Waterloo. I'm telling you, I never used it.
I haven't met too many people from Waterloo who weren't on Adderall.
I always wondered. I'm like, well, I was in an engineering, right? So,
Oh,
But
you're
yeah,
one
I
of the
always
fake
wondered.
Waterloo people.
yeah. I just got the degree. It would. I always wondered what it feels like. Is it like you're wired? Like, let's go. I can accomplish anything, or is it kind of like? I
It's
don't know.
like pre-workout.
Is it more tension, or is it?
It's like
yeah.
pre-workout
I-
with focus.
You have not ever used Adderall.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mr.
you
Lawyer
have.
over
I
here.
have used it 100%. It's the only way you got through law school.
No, actually, no. But I actually never used it in law school. But it was actually funny. You could actually go to the library and say, "Hey, like I need a Addy, blah blah, blah milligrams," and somebody would just have it. Everybody would have it. It's
crazy.
insane.
Seriously.
I'd say 80 to 90% of my class was on Addy.
And the advantage you could just do more is that the
It's like yeah,
Focus.
it's a cheat code. Cheat
Just,
code.
it's just focus. Like you're able to focus. And you know how we have
But
have you heard of the flow state? Like where you just get in the zone and you
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that
it basically
happens-
helps you pop into a flow
Yeah.
state really, really quickly. And obviously, I think the more you do it, the less harder it becomes to get into that. But as someone
that'd be
once
scary.
described,
Would
to
you
me,
crash?
you just sleep.
Do you crash after it wears off?
I think you just
Oh.
realize that your body's tired and you want to get some sleep.
And it gets to a point, and this is the fear that keeps me from ever really using it. Is I have had a lot of lawyers tell me that they can't even write a paragraph without
No, that's fucked.
using it.
That's what I heard. That's
That's
why
like
I always
the
avoided it.
homeboys
But
at a party. That's like the homeboys at a alcohol party. I need a drink to have fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
I heard.
but you know, it's one thing. It's one thing. It's scary, only in the sense that fine, you know, use that banquet hall analogy. Like that's like a Friday Saturday thing. Like if you need this to work, that's Monday to
that's a
Saturday.
dependency.
That is, yeah, your body on
dependency,
overdrive
yeah,
all the
you're-
time. You
Yeah,
know,
that's kinda
on
why I
turbo
avoid
boost the
things.
whole time.
Is I don't want to get dependent on anything. But I've heard magical things about it.
I mean, I guess a Red Bull's the most I've ever been wired.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, man, it
I
must
don't
get a
pay
lot
energy
done. I
drinks.
wonder what that would be like.
I mean, is it okay if someone were to hypothetically keep it in like a glass container and use it only in emergencies? I'm
Hold on,
asking for a friend.
describe the emergency. Describe the emergency.
He's
What would
got
be
a
the
2 hours
emergency?
to
You
prepare
know,
a
like
how do you say deposition?
Deposition.
yeah, no,
Deposition.
like you have a urgent let's call it a lawyer work file that needs to be taken care of in a couple of days and requires a lot of work. That's an emergency. I mean, I know.
I wonder if we sound like kind of whatever the term
Squarish.
is, but square for not using it. Like and everybody's like, oh fuck this guy.
You know what's
He's taking
funny
it for
about
time. But
Adderall?
I'm generally being honest. I've never used anything like that, but I've always been curious.
I know you guys don't follow this world at all, but in esports, there have been Adderall scandals where teams have been
What?
like a CS:GO team.
That makes sense.
You know,
Yeah,
they
that makes
found
sense.
out that the players were on Adderall, and they're like, "Yo, that team's suspended because they were all
It's like doping. It's
doping."
like doping, basically.
It's the doping. That's their steroid. Adderall is considered
Yeah,
like a
I mean-
steroid for esports.
I guess because you're so dialed in, I guess that's the
If-
cheat code.
That's what they're
it's the
saying.
zone thing. Yeah, the flow or whatever it is.
But if you could show them that you have ADHD, which isn't that hard to get diagnosed with.
I think our generation, like because of the influx of screens and devices and social media, I think we all have a level of ADHD.
we were getting dopamine from so many different places. Probably still are. I
Yeah,
get scared
right?
when my kids. My one kid just loves using my phone, even though it's locked, and all he can do is press numbers. He's just like, I'm like, shit, you're getting a dopamine hit from trying to call 911. This is bad.
But do you get do you have that in other sources of your life? I know you guys just started working out again. Do you guys get it from that? Like when you're in the flow and
When you're getting gains, like when you hit that, when you basically hit your head,
I,
you go consistently. Hang on. Let me explain myself. At the first, you start going, and you think, "Am I doing anything? I don't feel any different. Nothing.
I just feel
don't see any
sore and
difference."
tired.
I feel sore and tired.
Hmm.
And then after a few months of consistency, you start to notice that every week you're incrementally improving. And that's the dopamine hit.
and you get the addiction from
And
that,
that's
right?
it. But then you have these phases of gains. When you have those gains, that's when you're going back. And the second like you have an injury or something, have one of your monthly vacations kicks in, and you miss the gym. That can take yeah. Then you hit that plateau. Then it's very hard to get to that gain phase again, and that's where you let off. But yeah, you have that focus in the gym too, especially when you're gaining, when you're in that phase.
Do you get that from work?
No.
That was pretty quick. Not even if you
hence the Adderall. Hence the Adderall.
Yeah.
Man, life's tough out here. We are becoming very dependent on drugs as a society generally, because we always hear about big pharma always like funneling this stuff to us, trying to give us these improvement things. Energy drinks are one of the biggest sectors for a reason, right? People are always looking for that. What was that movie?
Limitless.
Limitless.
Yeah.
We're looking for that limitless drug, right? So it's there, and I think we're chasing it. But
I just think we don't, like, a lot of people don't look at the small wins in life. Like now we're so inundated with ideas or sources or what we deem to be success, or people on Instagram trying to live through other people's lives, that they actually don't turn around and look at their own life and say, they are having those small wins every day. They are successful in their own right, but they don't equate it to be success. Yeah, they don't acknowledge it, so they're not getting that hit of like, shit, I'm actually doing okay.
that's some real shit, though. Do you ever like just stop and be like, you know what, my life's fucking good, man. I'm good where I'm at. This is a nice setup.
I get asked every day, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. I woke up.
Yeah.
Right. I woke up. It's a good start. That's a good start right there. We don't appreciate sometimes. We look at our kids, we hear them laugh. That's another. Like there are things in our life, but we can be so distracted, and I think it gives way for these other things like be it drinking, drugs, Adderall, Reggie in his fancy gyms,
and Andrew Tate and his inspirational tweets.
Yeah. I mean, you're just looking for when you feel like your life is not good enough to some artificial measure. I think you go looking, and I do it. I'll look, shit, man, I need a better car. And I don't look at, like, and then I realize, let me get a car. Forget what type it is. I have a car. I'm not taking the bus, or, there's other ways, but I mean, I think it's becoming more and more where people are looking for something. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I guess you have a lot of time to contemplate when you're on a beach every other month.
But
Hey,
you know
don't
what's
hate on my
interesting?
success.
I mean, it's not so much. It's a whole interesting thing about the Tates of the world, because he's not the one. He's not the only. There's a few people kind of busting up like him, and they're appealing to. My generation was actually kind of funny because no one I knew who Andrew Tate was at his arrest. They learned about him over the few weeks, but like the day of his
really?
arrest, I went to someone like, "Yo, do you hear about Andrew Tate?" They're like, "Who?" And then I'm like, hold on, then I looked him up in the Toronto Star, looked it up in Globe and Mail, looked him up in National Post. Then I started trying to find papers with articles that I could send him about this guy. None of them cared. He was such a low level influencer
Yeah.
in
But
the mainstream
mind you,
sense that
his
the
rise has
papers
only
didn't-
happened, but his rise has only really happened in the last 8 months. It's like this weird,
It has,
like, is really like,
but it's only happened in a very niche demographic of young people know him, high school kids all know him, university
yeah.
kids
And
know him.
in the UK, they just announced today that the teachers are going to have to reteach the adolescent boys because they're quoting Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
And now they have to approach. Yeah, it's like,
Oh my
and,
god, it's so funny.
he was big because of Twitch. He was really big with Twitch streamers, certain Twitch streamers, like really big ones, who are 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds who would constantly try to have him on their streams, and he'd constantly be there, and he'd be like, you see this guy with sports cars and saying, "Hey, this is what you can achieve."
yeah, but
And that's
but
what
kids
every
are like-
15-year-old wants is a sports
That's
car.
what
I think kids are
with
just more
unlimited girls.
stupid. We were listening to Tupac in grade 7 and 8. It's not like we're going to fucking do the same. Like they're still out fake.
Hold on,
These
hold
kids are
on.
just stupid.
Tupac was a good influence on most people because he was social active.
Hit him up.
Hit 'em up made me realize that you cannot let people push you around. And if someone says something, speak your mind.
And you gotta
great- I don't think-
and you gotta go have relations with the other man's wife.
I
That's
don't
what learned from that
I
song.
don't think hit him up said speak your mind. I think they told you to deal with your problems in another way.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I don't think it's a good equation now of equating Tupac and Andrew Tate. I'm very offended that you made that comparison.
No. I'm not comparing. No, do it. I am not comparing them. I'm just saying the influence of any type of media had on us. You're saying we didn't have that. We had our sources.
We had our sources, but we didn't have. So that's another interesting thing, right? Is boys
What
right
he's
now.
doing. He's not making one person. He's telling you as, oh, you're a man, so you're blah 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 blah. You're already better than everybody. Like, you don't have to achieve anything. That's what these boys are like. Oh shit, we're men.
A difference is, I'll say, between like our era and now is let's use Tupac, Biggie, anybody as an example. They are media. They influenced us, how we dealt or thought about the world, how we dressed, how we spoke. Shaped how we dealt with confrontation for Shinda.
Yes, for sure.
But it was only through their music. We didn't have 24/7 access to them. We didn't have their podcast. We had their very posh, interviews, but we weren't riding around with them. We didn't have 24-hour access to them. That's
We
different
weren't in
now.
their Discord where we could chat with them.
Yeah,
for $50 a month.
Now when you have access, 24/7 almost access these people with cameras following around all the time, streaming everything, live, tweeting, being live on Facebook, being live on Insta. You see this person in every walk of life, and how they actually live the life that they preach, and if they do, and it's silly and it's bad, well, that's just out there for people to consume.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just
when
another-
If Tupac was an asshole to every waitress and never tipped, and would punk valet drivers and shit like that, he might be a little less cool to us. It might empower some other people to be cheap and assholes to people in the service industry, but a lot of people might not like him. We never had that type of access. We don't know what he was actually like. Right?
But there was also this thing that was interesting about Andrew Tate that I've been trying to figure out a lot, is the people he appeals to. When I talk to them, like, why does he appeal to you? Their whole thing is there's a war on masculinity. And I feel like there's something in society today that didn't exist for us, where you felt guilty for being something. And if someone said, no, you should be that, you should be the alpha version of that, I never felt like, yo, I gotta be this. Like, that was the one thing that I found that exists now that didn't really exist to that same
One thing to
degree.
dispel is it craps out
Is that
and
his
we can
internet
barely hear.
definitely is an alpha?
Oh,
That's not alpha internet, it's beta.
Sigma
This
internet.
entry phenomena isn't just kids though. Like I know, let's say, a woman our age who complain about dating Punjabi guys our age, who quote Andrew Tate,
What? They're quoting him?
and it's
The women
ruining
are,
the dating
or the
pool.
women are meeting
meeting
dates
men.
who quote and
So I'll just put it out there. There's some shit that he says. It's like, you start. It's like the one line you start like, oh, okay.
There's truth to this one
some of
line.
it's
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it
The
goes,
hook.
and then he just goes, and then he just goes. It's the hook. You're like, oh, I get that, and then he just goes off the deep end. It doesn't make any sense anyway.
Like when he says, be confident. You're like, yeah, be confident.
Yes.
Work out. You
confident.
should be the best. You should work out.
Or
We
like,
agree.
the one that I always laugh about, he's like, he starts off saying like, I'm out there killing myself as a man, and I come home and I don't want problems, and then like the next line he says, I own my women, like I own them. It's like. Like, wait, what? So he's just off his. He says something and he just goes off his rocker. So
Yeah,
I mean,
so if his 15 to 20% actually hits and is good, like when he says shit like books are stupid, you don't need them, that kind of kills everything. That 15 to 20% gets ignored.
but didn't Trump do the same thing?
Yeah, Trump did.
Yeah.
And
Trump.
that's what,
It's the same Trump playbook. Get the hook, get them riled up, say whatever the fuck you want.
but
And
you gotta acknowledge
and
though that
have
there's
them.
something going on right now where, like Randy said, men think that, hey, if someone's not smart enough to be on a date and not seeing anything wrong with quoting Andrew Tate, there's something missing. And they're probably like, all women are bitches. They've been they're all adopting this level of feminism, makes meeting girls really, really hard because they don't respect my alphaness. Like there is this, I'm gonna say it. There's this incelness that's risen, taken rise. The Jordan Petersons appeal to it. They really trigger it when they say, men and women are different and women need to know their roles. And that's the only way a true man can be himself is if he's with a woman who really brings that out of him. There's this thing that
I think it's just that hook thing. I don't think it's. I think it's like what you just said is the hook. When you say men and women are different, you ask all of us, we're all going to say yes.
yeah.
Not from a misogynistic point of view. It's just generally saying, well, yeah, I view my
But it's interesting.
daughter
like,
and
you
my
start
son
here,
differently.
you're
Like
like,
that's
I
just
see that, and then all of a sudden you're there, like, hold up, where?
So and if you hear it enough, that line gets further and further away from being,
But say you're a dude and you're having a hard
Incorrect.
time meeting girls. Now you're blaming girls not liking you based on politics. You're like, they've been indoctrinated by this weird feminism, and it's not my fault. People don't take responsibility enough of. No, dude, maybe you're just a weirdo.
I think the word feminism is being clouded as well.
It is, yeah.
Right? It's just getting thrown all around,
And
all left, right, and center.
All of a sudden, if
I'm
you're a feminist,
like,
yeah, it's like what you.
Shin's a big feminist. I gotta say that.
I mean, yeah, it's just weird though. I feel like people don't accept that maybe there's problems in themselves. That there's always an external factor influencing things. So a dude not being able to grab a girl or like carry a conversation isn't the guy's problem of being a weirdo or having like shitty values. They relate it to no, it's the girl's values that are off, not mine. Even though not intent.
you just weren't raised right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that's a fact. Like that's the weird thing, right? Like I don't know how you guys perceive. When I hear feminism, I think of equality in work, equality in the way you're treated, equality to live your life. Beyond that, I mean, that word gets thrown around on everything now. Like the fact that they're bringing it, this is feminism. It's like, I think most guys don't even know what it is.
I think it's just now a regular insult. It's like
it's an insult, right?
it
Like, they're
means
just
nothing
using it as,
because
like,
it's been used so much.
exactly. So it's
But there's something
interesting.
going on with men, like that relationship between men and women right now is at a weird place that I don't
It's a
think it
weird
was
place.
for us
It's a
growing
weird
up.
place because, and I'm gonna say it, we're the generation that has to shoulder, take the weight on for the change. It ain't our dad's generation. That's for
Hell
sure.
no.
I still get
So-
teased when I change the
so,
diaper, man.
I remember, yeah. I think I've heard
you guys both are smiling because you know exactly what I'm saying. So there are
My dad legit
most
goes.
most of us can carry it, and I ain't gonna lie, I'll be honest. There's some shit that I get pissed off about. I'm like, fuck, it is what it is. But there's gonna be a good proportion, of our peers that are not going to be able to shoulder that weight. Or one second, you can't blame them as a guy. What the fuck would you want to change? Her dad's lived amazing lives, right? But it's not fair. That's the truth, right?
I remember the moment
You know,
my kid was only a few months old, and my dad finally got his friends over, and I took him around. They all played with the kid, and then he had to get his diaper changed. I'll be back. I got to change his diaper. And my dad looked around at his friends. Look, he changes his diaper. No, it's nice. It's nice.
I remember my dad said to me, "I didn't change yours. I'm not going to change your son's." I started laughing so hard.
Yeah, that generation it was different.
It was different, and I don't blame them. I mean, that's just the way they were raised. It's okay. It's just, I think we are trying to be better, and I think a lot of that frustration comes out from when that bar just keeps getting set to another level, and it's not. There's a lack of understanding that a lot of us men have been programmed that way to think, you know, from our fathers, or not directly, but indirectly being around that situation to think, well, okay, I'm not my dad. But it's still not good enough, and if that keeps happening in certain situations, that's where you get these guys and Andrew Tate, and you get the hook, like, yeah, shit, fuck, this is the way the world's supposed to be, you know, and this is the way it was, and this is, and
Listen,
and
man,
that's
as
all
a
it is.
man, you're not supposed to touch your kid's shit. That's just how it is. That's just how nature wanted it. And if, you know, my
Straight
woman,
up.
he's like, that's why I keep 3 wives, so that the kid's diaper's always fresh.
What?
I mean, that's the type of shit that I hear him say, and it's kind of like, oh.
Yo, he just goes off, man. Yeah.
But then I'm at this weird point where I don't know when people like him because they think he's a troll and he's funny. Because I remember I liking Meninist tweets, like when the Meninist stuff started popping off. I'm like, yo, this is pretty funny.
There you go.
Not my internet. Yeah, thank you for staying on brand. But yeah, when the Meninist tweets went off, I used to find them hilarious. And then I started like, oh shit, there's people who actually really, really believe that this is how everything should be 100% of the time. Yeah, that's probably not so funny.
Yeah,
You guys killed the
but that's-
joke. Thank you. So I can't tell with Andrew Tate people if some people are legitimately fans of him,
I mean,
or they
it's-
legitimately just
it's-
love them joke and meme about him.
Let's bring it back to Trump. There's generally people who believed everything he said, like.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
it's possible. Yeah.
like they're like, he's the best Christian ever. Like, what? Like, just making up random
Like
lies
dude who
about
never
this
goes
guy.
to the church. He's the greatest Christian.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's so. I mean, you're always going to have that percentage of the population, and it might be the way social media is today. The way we kind of digest information, and at the rapid pace it is. You know, is it education? Is it the ability to step back and say, okay, I know what I want to believe, and that's not true, probably. But I think it's just another form of programming. We just talked about how we got programmed to think what is normal. So, you know, these kids are being programmed too. So the concerns are
So what
somewhat
you're
valid.
saying? So what you're saying is there's a new world order upon us where they're programming us to think a certain way, and we need to stop the tyranny. We need to stop the tyranny. Honest to God, if you really think the government's tyrannical, you got to stop paying taxes. That's the only way to really stand up for yourself.
Yeah, man, and didn't tell the CRA. Give them the middle finger.
Yeah, the
Send them a
CRA
letter.
and the man. That's the only true way to give the man the finger is stop paying your taxes.
I'll be fair, and this is probably going to get me killed, but the stuff that like these menace accounts or you know, Andrew Tate says, there's a freshness to them, or it's kind of refreshing. And let me qualify that only in the sense that, let's say, last 15,
You
20
think they're
years,
true?
15, 20 years, we're in such a state of reform to make things equal. Like equality is a big thing, glass ceiling.
Yep.
It's been pounded on us for so long that now that people are openly saying things that they shouldn't, it's just like somebody saying something different. Just kind of attracts everybody's ears. I'm not saying fresh as in good, fresh as in different, fresh as in out there, out of the box. That's there's an attraction there, a human nature attraction to
Yeah,
that.
it's the hook.
That's
It's like, I think this. It's not being said. Oh, it's kind of what he's. Oh, that's it. Oh, yes, I kind of have
You
that.
know one thing
I've been
that-
thinking like that, and that's how you get reeled in, right? It's good marketing, man. He's a master marketer. That's what he's doing.
100% master marketer because he's offering a course at the end of it. That's what his hook was. He's been doing this. No, seriously. His whole thing is he has a $50 a month program called Hustlers University. I'm going to help you get your Bugatti. It's a self-help group for men, really. Let's
They-
talk about what's everything that's bothering you.
Like and then
I cut off. Yeah, so he does have this like self-help thing that he's selling at the end of this.
no, you're good. Yeah.
But one thing that I found funny is Ranji was saying is we've had this movement where people are like, oh, yo, you can't, if someone has an OnlyFans, you got to be supportive. You can't talk shit about it. And then Andrew Tate comes around. No, because Ranji was talking about the bar and the way it's moving. And Andrew Tate, one of the things that really people resonate with is he's like, look, I don't want my wife to be a former OnlyFans model or have an OnlyFans account. And everyone's like, yeah, you know, a lot of
the
people
hook.
might not. That's the hook.
That's the hook.
And
Because
so-
it's true. No, but
And there is truth to
nothing
a lot
wrong
of
with
these
saying
things.
no, there's not truth. That's true. No one
No.
wants their wife to be an OnlyFans model. Like you ask us, like no, right? It's the truth. I'm not.
Yeah,
so
but like
just
that's
how
the hook
everybody
that gets
thinks.
you, and you're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
sensible. And then all of a sudden it goes from there to
And then you go there, like he owns
if
the
she's-
women, and then it just
if she's not making my sandwich, there's clearly a power
Yeah.
imbalance because I'm the one making the money. She
Or
has to
what's
be the
it,
one taking care of me.
I make her. She makes me 2 coffees, and I spill one just to make sure 2 are being made. It's like I heard some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's the. I think this is where people would be like, no, you take the good, drop the bad. I'm like, at this point, I don't even know if you know what the bad is when he
Oh,
speaks.
you gotta drop his good for all the bad he says. That's
Yeah.
the actual you gotta do it.
I feel like when dudes now are raising men, that's gonna be an interesting thing. Is how do we raise them? Because at the same time, you don't want them to be a pushover and be bullied and be one of these like people that we consider like snobbling idiots, like complete white knight simps or whatever. But on the other hand, we're like, look, you got to treat people with respect. Actually, is that really that hard? Maybe it's not that hard.
Just
be nice.
raise them like how we were raised.
Dude, just raise gentlemen for the
Yeah.
boys.
You don't have to push any new narratives. Just raise them the way we were raised. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They find add a few inklings of knowledge here and there. Maybe prepare them for different situations.
Like,
Teach
look,
them how to
but a
throw a
whole-
punch.
but a
Teach them
whole-
how to
but a
throw
whole-
punch.
But a whole rewrite of what it is to be a guy. No,
and I think that
it's that's stupid. You know,
you feel like
those things. Are,
boys right now are being pressured not to be guys? Because I know people complain about that, but I've never felt it.
I mean, what does it mean to be a guy? Right? Like
Yeah,
this
you
is
just
the
open up
question,
the
right?
whole
What,
Pandora's box about with that question.
right? Like, I mean, when we say they're like, yeah, they're against. I mean, the fundamental thing is that there's differences. The different ways guys communicate with one another. The different ways girls communicate with one another. There's different ways to grow up, different interests, and that's okay, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if, let's say, my daughter wants to play a sport like hockey, go for it. I mean, there's not like you can't do this. But I'm still programmed that same way. Like if my son will pick up my daughter's dolls, I'll look at him for a bit. I'm like, I put it down now. Get a truck. And so like, and that's because I've been programmed like that, right? Like that's just who we are. That's okay. But in the future, if it comes to how my son has to treat a woman, and vice versa for my daughter as well, you teach him equality. Teach him the side that we grew up with, teaching them that you're not a man and you're an absolute piece of shit from day one. Like, that's not going to achieve anything. Right?
Yeah. I do agree more or less. I guess to sum it up, you say show them their lane, but show them that there's no barriers either.
Yeah, and you want to put an indicator, go for it. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
I like that. All right, man. We've been going for a bit. Anyways, any closing remarks? Apart from I'm going to go upgrade my internet. And remember when I told you when I started that Rogers needs to up their service a little bit?
My Rogers download speed is 762 megabytes per second and upload is 30. So
I'm just happy
suck.
it was only once today for me, so I'll take that as a W.
I'm sorry for my quality. Actually, the listeners get to appreciate my quality in perfect pitch. It's your
'cause
quality
you're
that they get
local.
back then bad that they're going to be like, what the hell?
When's the 10K?
10K,
Let
May
everybody
7th,
know.
man.
Time
May
to
7th,
start
we're all running a
training.
10K. The competition, who has the best time, I guess. That's what we're going for.
I mean, let's just go for who doesn't get a
or
heart
should we
attack
do-
on the course.
No, I think
Who
we should
doesn't
do
drop
most
it?
improved.
Most improved? I mean, that's hard to measure, right? For all of us, or for me specifically, just completing it is most improved.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I think me completing it
the only
would be-
way to do that, Robbie, is we do a baseline 10K run now, which I'm not doing.
I'm not ready to do that, man. Ain't trying
And then you
to.
run another one.
Yeah.
So let's just go with time.
Let's just try to
Let's
get it
just
done
do it.
within an hour, man. That should be like the goal. Let's try to get it done within an hour.
Fine. I was training lucky, man. And,
There's nothing stopping you from training like Rocky either.
I can't, man. I'm not going to. I told you I'm running straight to the restaurant. That's the goal. That's my only goal.
I'm so happy though that Robbie's
you
with
guys
us because
finish
this guy's
before-
gonna find great food. The food after the run is gonna be impeccable. I know Robbie's gonna find a great place.
That's what I'm going to be thinking about for the hour that I'll be running.
I literally know if I know you two idiots have finished before me, I'm gonna grab an Uber and meet you at the restaurant. Fuck that.
This guy's just gonna go off course. His beeper's gonna did not
Who was
finish.
that person? Wasn't that Boston Marathon? They took. Was that a movie or was that in real life?
I feel like
Where they
George
took a
Costanza
taxi or
did that.
something?
I feel like
Was
this
it?
is a
Maybe, I
Seinfeld
don't know,
episode.
Yeah, I feel like it's a Seinfeld thing to do.
yeah. Anyways,
All right, boys.
All right.
I'll try and get this one up for
and
tomorrow.
everyone's welcome. Anyone's welcome to join. If they want to come.
Should we put like a charity
Laugh
thing
at
to
us.
this? I really.
Yeah, why don't we should do that. I think that's a
Oh
good
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, fine. Let's
Let's
get
raise
our
some money.
let's
We
take
should
some
rate
money.
for Calza 8, everyone's most hated charity right now.
Why is it hated? I mean, if that's another podcast topic. We'll
That's
talk
a
about
whole
it
different
next
topic. There's been like
Wow, that was a good
Controversy.
topic.
time. All right, next time, call
I'm
say.
gonna put in the notes now, boys. All right.
all
All
right. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.
All right, peace, guys.
Peace.